Welcome to Driven Ops Power Talk. I'm Jasmine Moore.
And I'm Rebecca Heisey. We're two work besties who have spent over a decade learning the ins and outs of sales and marketing.
On this podcast, we discuss all things go-to-market operations, the people, processes, and technologies that make up the engine of a thriving go-to-market function. Let's get to it. Today, we're diving into a challenge every marketing ops pro faces, making sure leadership actually sees the value of our work. MOPs does so much behind the scenes to keep marketing running, but if leadership doesn't understand that impact, it's tough to get things like budget, resources, or even the respect in some cases that we deserve. So today, we're talking about the value that MOPs brings to organizations and how to make that visible to leadership so that they understand exactly why MOPs is critical to business success.
Okay, so let's talk about why it goes unnoticed. So the thing about MOPs is that when we do our job right, everything looks effortless. So campaigns are running smoothly, leads get routed properly, reports are accurate, it looks perfect. So leadership just assumes that it's happening. It's just happening like a push of a button.
Right, but the moment something breaks, suddenly everyone notices MOPs, right? If emails aren't sending or leads are missing from Salesforce, we're the first ones to get a Slack ping. And that's the problem. If your value is only seen when things go wrong, you'll always be seen as a reactive team, not a strategic one. So that's why we have to proactively showcase our impact before things break. To make our work visible, we first have to define where MOPs is driving impact. There are three areas we want to discuss today: operational efficiency, analytics, data accuracy and governance, and marketing performance enablement.
Okay, so let's start with operational efficiency. So this is how MOPs is saving time and reducing manual work. So automation tools managed by MOPs reduce manual errors and accelerate campaign execution. This frees up time for strategic planning. It ensures campaigns are consistent and timely and drives more reliable pipeline growth for the sales team and for marketing as a whole.
That brings us back to the foundation of marketing automation, right? MOPs establishes robust lead scoring, routing, and nurture processes, and these systems ensure that high-quality leads are quickly identified and handed off to sales, thereby shortening the sales cycle and increasing the overall conversion rate. Now let's talk about the analytics and data. How marketing measures and reports out its performance and effectiveness to the rest of the organization is critical in showing marketing's value and impact, and that system is architected by MOPs. MOPs designs and refines a marketing team's attribution and influence models that accurately assign credit to each marketing touchpoint. This means every campaign from email nurture to event engagement is linked to lead movement, helping identify which channels drive conversions.
But we have to remember that it all starts at the data. So MOPs manages the data integrity and orchestration. They are responsible for ensuring high quality data that is gathered in a single source of truth. So you can think of a place like your CRM. And this transparency enables both marketing and sales teams to understand which initiatives are influencing leads and revenue. So as an example, if sales is based on territory and the team changes, you need to make sure that the other teams are aware. MOPs needs to make sure that leads are routing to those correct teams after that change has happened.
Absolutely. But a ton of this work happens behind the scenes, right? Before it even lands in a front end dashboard that leadership consumes. I'm talking duplicate management, naming conventions, sync errors, attribution tagging, the list goes on. But all of these have their own related systems and rules of engagement that MOPs manages and maintains on a daily basis. This work is completely unseen, and if you walked your manager through your process of managing these, they'd be stunned at the level of detail and that work that goes into it. Think about all the daily data management tasks you've worked into your day-to-day to ensure that your data hygiene is up to par. Things like list views that allow you to audit leads that haven't been worked on, that have been assigned and been sitting for a while, or things like dashboard zeros that allow you to holistically look at your entire funnel and identify gaps and issues. Share this work with your managers. Not only does it highlight the work you're doing, but also gives them a sense of security and confidence that you have the data handled.
I think those were all really great points. And our last key area for where MOPs' value comes into play is marketing performance enablement. So this is how MOPs is making marketing more effective. One, we have MOPS isn't just accepting campaign assets and sending it and moving it on. There are things that enable marketers to continually optimize their strategies. So, first is system features. It's important that MOPS is continually bringing new technology enablement ideas to marketers so that they know what's top of mind and what's been changing. Other areas that they improve on are things like maybe A/B testing or content personalization and using cool features that segment and make dynamic content more scalable for the marketer's approach and speed up their optimization time. Those are things that someone who is not in the marketing automation world may not think of right away. So it's important that that's always at the forefront of your mind. Be a strategic partner to your marketers.
And after using these advanced features, report back how their campaigns performed. What was the winner of the A/B test? How did the email perform? What links were clicked most often in the latest newsletter? Even a simple, in the last 5 email sends that we ran A/B tests on, the shorthanded subject lines outperformed the longer ones by over 15% consistently. That little blurb goes a long way in showing that you're not just an executor, but a strategic partner that is offering insights and driving action. Okay, so now we know where MOPS adds value. Let's talk about how to actually showcase that to leadership. Here are 4 things that you can start doing today to make your hard work more visible to leadership. First, create a monthly state of MOPS report. So this is a cool tactic that I've done over the years. This is a simple one-pager that highlights wins, efficiency improvements, and impact. Keep it high level. Leadership doesn't need every system update, but they do need to see progress. Point out takeaways like last month, MOPS enabled a 15% lift in email engagement by improving segmentation strategies. Keep it tied to business impact. That leads me to my second point. Always tie MOPS' success to leadership goals. Executives care about revenue, efficiency, and scale. If you frame MOPS wins in those terms, they will pay attention. So instead of saying, we fixed lead scoring rules, say, by optimizing lead scoring, we helped sales prioritize the right leads, increasing conversion rates by 10%.
Number 3, make data visual and digestible. Leaders love dashboards. If you can create a simple visual, like a lead funnel broken down by campaign, they're likely to engage with it. Even a simple month-over-month bar chart of net new leads by acquisition source goes a long way in bringing leadership closer to the data and feeling your impact. Also, make these dashboards self-serve. Have them ready so that the KPIs are available for leadership to look at, share the link, tell them to bookmark it, and then on top of walking them through it, add your thoughts and insights to encourage them to refer to it daily as needed so they feel empowered and don't feel like they have to keep coming back to you with questions.
Having self-serve dashboards is like a game changer in enabling your leadership. So Becca, like you said, give them the dashboards, but also when you're running through the dashboards, add your insights on top. But now that they have the dashboards, they can read ahead and look at the dashboard so they kind of have an idea of where the data is so that when you go into your meeting, you're not starting from zero explaining, okay, here's the metrics and here's what they mean. You can just kind of quickly say like, here's the report, but like really let's talk about what this means.
Yep, exactly. And then lastly, like again, also to your point to add on to that is you want to communicate proactively. So don't wait for leadership to ask you for updates, bring the insights to them. And like you said, just explain those things early on so that when you are having these meetings, they're not questioning what you're saying during the meeting. And a quick, hey, here's what's being optimized this quarter goes a really long way so that they have, again, just that foresight of what's coming and what you are going to present. It's about controlling the narrative so you don't have to tell the story of MOPS's impact. Leadership will assume what we do at that point.
Well said. Okay, quick recap. MOPS's work often goes unnoticed because when we do our job well, it looks seamless. The key is to proactively showcase our impact, track metrics that tie back to revenue, efficiency, and performance, and communicate in a way that leadership understands. Keep it high level, visual, and tied to their goals. That's it for today. Let us know how you make MOPS visible in your org.
All right, coffee talk.
Time for coffee talk. What's our topic today, Becca?
All right, so today we're going to talk about workday superpowers. So, like, what would be just the best way, maybe, yeah, like just a general superpower that you wish you had at work that could help you get through the day, get through the week, whatever it is?
Okay, I have a good one. So my superpower would be kind of like mind reading, but
Mm.
specific to context behind a question. So many times someone like brings you a question and like asks like, "Hey, you know, when this campaign came out or like when this campaign went out, were there issues with X, Y, and Z?" And it's like sometimes you get questions and you're like, where does this question come from? Like, what's the context? Something triggered you asking. Like, I wish there was like a notes bubble over someone's head so I can read the background of like what prompted this question so then I can answer it the best way because I feel like there's always meaning behind a question and it I hate when someone just like brings you a face value question without the
Oh,
context.
yeah, totally. That's a really good one. And I completely agree with that. That's my like worst like frustration, I think, is when you have to then follow up and say, can you give me background? Because I don't even know how to answer this
Yeah.
until I have a little more context to this. And it just slows everything down. Like,
Yeah.
give me a TLDR really quick.
TLDR.
Yes. Give me a quick TLDR and then ask your question. And then maybe I can get to you quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And to
funny.
those asking those prompted questions without sharing what prompted, do better.
Yes, do better, please. That's a good one. I definitely agree with that. I think mine would be being able to interpret everyone's sort of dialogue. The fresh, like something that's hard for me, I think, is that when you're having a conversation with somebody, maybe in a similar instance to what you're referencing, you're trying to discuss maybe what needs to be done. But because people use different terminology to explain how they want to get something done or just even their thought process, you could
Mhm.
almost be saying that you want the exact same end result, but you
Yeah.
have a hard time understanding what the other person is saying,
Yeah.
how to get there. And so I wish that I could just have like almost the same, like maybe a bubble or something that pops up and goes, okay, in layman's terms, here's basically what you're both saying.
Yeah.
Like
Like, let's
maybe,
simplify
yeah.
it.
Yes, let's simplify it. Like maybe that's a new AI feature. So I don't know, but like,
Gemini, let's see what you
yeah,
got.
yeah, exactly. Like, okay, here's what you said, here's what I said. Now someone just simplify this term and tell us like, are we getting to the same, end result or are we both off the beaten path?
Yeah. I mean that's a good point because there's so many times where you're like in a room, a virtual room, physical room, whatever, and there's like a lot of back and forth and like people could be going back and forth and almost arguing on a topic but all be saying the same things.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
you don't realize that you guys are all arguing the same point but you're saying it differently. So yeah,
Hmm.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I will petition for Gemini to add that feature. Have you seen the cool things that Gemini can do? Google Gemini?
So, okay, so the funny thing is that I didn't realize that Gemini was its own app and I was only using Gemini in the Google Docs until like I think 2 days ago. so
It's
so at
cool.
first I was just like this is awful. It doesn't even interpret like it doesn't rephrase anything properly. But then I found out it's like it has its own app and you can like iterate in the app. So I'm fairly fresh in the area of Gemini, but I'm getting used to it now.
Yeah, and I'm sure it will evolve. I mean, function, one cool feature, I haven't used it yet. I've only played around with it. You can turn it on while you're in a Google Meet and have it translate the words that are being spoken into a different language. And so
Oh,
it
that's
adds
really cool.
subtitles. Yeah, like real time, I'll be speaking English and it'll translate my subtitles to like French in real
Huh,
time.
that's
Very
cool.
cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. All right, so now I just needed to like, read my interpretation of something and
That's
someone
right.
else's interpretation and say, "Hey, when I say, let me rephrase that," you rephrase it for both of us.
Exactly.
That's funny. That's
That's,
cool. I have to
yeah.
play more with the Gemini's features though.
All right, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Can't wait till next time.
See you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms.
Keep up with us and all of our hot takes on all things go-to-market operations. See you next time.